Was Rawiri Waititi right? Gardeners and fishermen? Rawiri Waititi, co-leader of Te Pāti Māori, quite openly states his ancestors were not violent in any way, that they were gardeners and fishermen, and New Zealand was a Maori peaceful paradise before the European colonisers arrived.
If I look at the history of my people, not once were warriors, once were gardeners, once were fishermen. There is nowhere in our history where children were treated, abused, and ignored.
Do you think Rawiri Waititi is correct? Prior to colonisation, the Maori existed on a very limited range of food types, such as fish, shellfish, eels, birds, kumara, taro, yams, uhu grubs, berries, fern root, dog, rat, and human slaves whenever their owners felt like killing and eating them. To some extent, the co-leader of Te Pāti Māori, Rawiri Waititi, is correct when he says that his ancestors were gardeners and fishermen, but they were also warring savage cannibals.
Who were the Maoris, historically? Were they men and women of peace, who sat around idyllically farming and having an endemically civilized life? Or were they brutal people who did terrible things to each other and to people they met?
The killing of the moa assumed an almost industrial scale, but sadly, the moa was killed and eaten to extinction. If it was there, it was destroyed and eaten. It wasn't only moa. The Maori hunted, killed and ate easily harvested bird life, the kakapo, the adzabil, the flightless geese and ducks, and even the flighted black swan. The constant gnawing of tough fruits of ferns as well as gritty shellfish and other hard foods wore away Maori teeth, so that by the age of around 20 years old, their back teeth were worn to stumps, making them look toothless and appear much older than they were. Needless to say, colonization brought dental care to Maori, which lifted them out of a veritable dental disaster. The healthier and more varied diet introduced by the colonists to New Zealand, including the meat of animals instead of the meat of human beings, has been of inestimable value to Maori and their descendants, with their life expectancy tripling from around 20 to 25 years in 1840, to around 78 years for women and 74 years for men in 2024. So, in respect of food, its preparation, cooking, and the utensils for eating it, colonization has been of tremendous benefit and value to Maori.
The trade in decapitated human heads? I'm sorry, I'm not willing to have my own culture ransacked and turned through this lens of pure evil, and simultaneously be expected to pretend that the Maoris were these proto-Gandhi-esque figures, sort of Mother Teresa with a bit too much beheading. No, this is totally untrue. And it's an obvious attempt to subjugate people in the West to a false ideology and a false version of our own past. The combination of the two of these things, a wild distortion of Western history.
There is no way our people were abusers. No way. No way. When people say, oh, you're a warrior race and then you just went around killing each other. No, that's not right. And that's their perspective on making themselves feel validated for the way they are. And the way they think. So they project the way they think on us.
So, do you think Rawiri Waititi is correct? Thank you for listening. Geraint, on behalf of WhangareiTim.